Okay, so let's talk about this unholy content that is super hard because Comtos just refuses to release level 80 monsters and summoners to us, which of course Korea has, so yeah, remember that they are playing easy mode, and if you do manage to get better scores than your Korean counterparts, trust me, you are infinitely better at the game. Now, how I did it. So I only managed to crack 5.4 million so far, but that's the score I'm staying at. I saw there's one guildy who did 6 million, but yeah, no, I'm not gonna push further. The run I got was quite lucky in terms of like monster targeting, so I'm definitely not gonna try to repeat it, but I'll explain how I did it. So first of all, here's the team that I used. So of course I went on Cleaf, not on Orbia, although I think on Orbius it's a little bit easier. But the first unit was the Celia. She was built on full HP, this is pretty much her build. 86k, I mean, my Orbia doesn't have any gems, so it was like 94k HP on Cleaf. Second unit was the Lushen. He was my main wave clearer, so full DPS build. And you mostly only use this skill because this skill has, first of all, high damage. Second of all, it only costs 2 mana, and third of all, the range is pretty massive. Let me show you the range itself. So if you take this on a 2 mana skill, this is the range. Again, like, it's not massive in terms of like being massive by itself, but compared to any other unit that is available, especially for that price, it was by far the best. And the third one is my argen. So I first tried Narinha, however I realized that argen will be a little bit better because first of all, you are able to attack speed down, which will lower the damage, not a lot, but a tiny bit at least. Second of all, both Narinha and argen can defense break, so he can defense break with first skill, Narin with second skill, but I found that if you manage to time it correctly, argen also has a self-attack buff, which Narinha unfortunately in this team does not have unless you are a Kina player. I don't know how you will be this as a Kina. As an Orbia, I can fully understand. As a Cleaf, he does have a very useful skill, which is the third skill because of the provoke, which I'll explain how it works. But yeah, this was my main team. He was also in a full DPS build. Stats are a bit lower because I don't have gems equipped here as well. Full accuracy just to make sure that he lands that defense break. And yeah, I'll show you the run real quickly. So this was the run. Basically, the first goal with at least like the first 3 to 4 waves is just clear with lushen. And yeah, I just walk into, my strategy to group them up is to walk into the middle, walk like half a circle in the middle and then walk back. That way they seem to stack up, and look at that, you can just clear them all in one go. For bosses, first one and second one, you just, for example, for me as a Cleaf player, I second skill for that crit damage taken up and I launch one nuke. For the first boss, that is enough. For the second boss and any other boss moving further, you'll notice that bosses have that crit damage, I believe it's crit damage taken down or just straight up damage taken down. But once you provoke a boss, he will actually lose that buff. I know that not everyone knows this fact, but yeah. The problem is, I think it might be a CC effect, but he's immune to a lot of CC effects, so I haven't tried too many. I tried a stun, I tried a silence. I don't think those worked for me, at least the stun didn't. Maybe I just didn't land the silence, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just clearing the waves. On the third one, look at that damage taken down buff. Whenever I provoke, it instantly disappears. Also, whenever I provoke is considered a CC effect. And Lushen's second skill actually does additional hit for the same amount of damage, plus it has 50% defense penetration. So once I provoke, he's actually able to shoot down the level 3 boss super easily because it's the water element, so he will do some additional damage as well. And yeah, he was able to clear this. Wave 4, definitely the hardest one because they don't stack up properly, and since these are ranged champions, yeah, that is usually the problem. Now, starting with boss from the 4th stage boss, I use my argen to nuke them instead of the lushen. So what I do here is I uncheck the whistle so that monsters don't follow me. I hit the monster once, usually with my provoke attack, and then I'll dash out to the other side. That way, whenever the boss targets me, he doesn't accidentally hit my backline. Sometimes with a super big AoE, he will hit it once or twice, but if you manage to nuke it in that time, it should be okay. And pretty much every time by the 4th wave, I have my ultimate, so what I do is just switch to argen, use his first skill, then use his second skill once the difference break is landed, and also use the ultimate, and that way I'm able to nuke the boss pretty easily. After that, back to wave 5, back to whistle control, and just try to wipe these out. I think the wave 5 was a bit unfortunate on the second wave. Like, those dark monsters are a little bit annoying to deal with. But yeah, we clear them out, Might need like 2 or 3 lushen nukes for that. I can see that argen still have attack buff from his previous, and again, on whistle, provoke, dash to the other side, and start spamming argen. Luckily, as I said, level 5 attack buff, so he was able to drop the boss super easily. He might die here though, or does he not? Oh no, it doesn't look like. After that, I just switched to the wind element because I feel like I was about to die. But after this, I pretty much only needed to do a little bit of damage to one monster and I would have reached 5 million. I didn't get to the boss unfortunately, and yeah, that was the run. That was the 5.4 million run for me. Now, if you're an Orbia, you will probably want to swap Lushen because your Dark Element second skill has a very good clear, which you can basically just drop the little, what's it called, meteor skill or whatever, that little spinny ball that stays for a few seconds, and just guide enemies towards it. I found that I tried to use the Dark Monkey, which has a very similar ability, except it also has defense break, and that worked pretty well, but Lushen's just lower mana cost was a bit better for me, especially since his second skill also helps with bosses way more than the Dark Monkey. But yeah, I don't know how you would do this from Kina. You would probably have to go with her as an attack buffer, and instead of, I don't know, maybe even Celia. But Celia is super hard to replace in here because Celia is like the perfect champion. First of all, damage taken up from the first skill, really helpful on bosses. Also, she has a heal on the second skill, which you can replace with Kina, I guess. But also her passive is just amazing. First of all, mana regen, you will get like level 1, level 2 permanently pretty much, because units are super easy to kill here. Also, you'll get increased damage. It's not attack buff, but it is pretty similar. I think Celia has like, is it element crit damage up or what is it? Oh, just straight up damage dealt up. So yeah, you get level 1 damage dealt up, which is again another 30% bonus. And comparing to the 50% attack, keep in mind this increases damage while attack only increases the attack stat, and without increasing crit damage stat, it will not be 50% more damage, it will be way less. So in most cases, I feel like damage dealt up will increase even more. And yeah, of course, having 1.5% or rather 1.5 times more mana regen is super useful for spamming those clearing abilities with Lushen. So yeah, that's pretty much how I did it. If you're an Orbia, you probably need to use the Dark second skill, clear with that, and instead of Lushen, use another unit that has a provoke. There are quite a few, I think. Wait, let me quickly check the provoke units. So if we go here, I know Darion is one. If you want a cheap one, you can probably go for him. I believe his provoke is cheap, right? Is this the provoke? Or is this the provoke? Oh yeah, this one. So a 2 mana provoke. It also does damage. I consider using him as a wave clear, because like the multiplier is pretty high and the monsters in those waves do not have that much HP. So definitely worth a shot even as a regular wave clear unit. His range isn't the biggest, but you can target it way better than Lushen, because Lushen just shoots like a cone in front of him, while this guy is just a straight up circle attack, so could help there, and if you need a cheap provoke, there it is. He also has some sustain because he gets a shield based on the damage dealt. Again, Tractor, another one, 2 mana provoke here, I believe, right? Yeah. So there are options. I don't know what you will have. I'm not an RBA player again, so it's a bit difficult for me. Oh yeah, I know that the light and wind, right? So you could use this as a provoke and this to speed up your skills. Again, another decent option for that. Just allow you to use your argen or non-enhanced skills faster, allow your Orbia to use skills faster. But yeah, that's pretty much how I did the infinite raid. 5.4 million, I'll take it. Anything above 5 million is pretty good for me. Let me know if you have different strategies or different units. I'm curious to see what you used, especially if you got like 5 million more. And yeah, that's about it, and peace.